Hey there, Dana Dempsey Cumberworth here. So I've been on Afrezza now, which is the inhaled insulin, for 3 months. Ditched my pod. I was using the Omnipod. Ditched it back in April this year. So I've been using it for 3 months, and I figured I would do an updated video, not only about the pros, but also about the cons. So the obvious pros with this medicine, again, it's a powdered insulin that are in little tiny cartridges that you pop into your inhaler. You literally put it in there. I'm not gonna do it now because I don't need it, but you just kind of put your lips on it, pop it in, and then it goes into your lungs and works. The biggest pros about this medicine is the obvious ones. There's no needles involved. There's no scar tissue from having, sites for your insulin pump or your Omnipod. There's the no need of worrying about, is my pod going to fail? Is my batteries going to die? All of those things are the obvious ones where this is a benefit. My favorite part of this medicine is how fast acting it is. I was on the Omnipod and I would, say, you don't time your meals well and you have a piece of pizza or even a salad for that matter, and your numbers start to climb, right? You see your Dexcom or your Libre and it says like your numbers are going up, it's in the 200s, and that stubborn 200, 250, you just hang out there for a while. You just can't get that darn number down. Well, this is so fast acting because when it goes into your lungs, it basically is a big surface area, absorbs, and within like 5 or 10 minutes, you're already seeing that number starting to trend down. The other benefit of this is I was really nervous with exercise, taking this medicine, knowing that it works so quickly. I do these long bike rides for the JDRF. I have a 107-mile bike ride in Sonoma in 6 weeks. And so, I'm training, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours on a bike ride. I'm like, I don't want to be crashing on these bike rides. And so the nice thing is it's out of your system so quickly. Its half-life is like 90 minutes, which for me, it lasts about 60. So when I take this, I know that, I'm probably going to have to actually take insulin while I'm on my bike ride, which makes no sense, right? I mean, like, you're exercising, you shouldn't need more insulin, right? But it's just how that works. Your body basically gets rid of it, and then, I might have to, like an hour and a half into my ride, actually take some insulin rather than worrying about me crashing because of these low numbers. So this is very different this year compared to my other years of riding and doing Ironman and such, that, I don't have to worry about those crazy lows. So as far as a huge benefit, that's a benefit. I like to think of it as a helium balloon in regards to the use of this medicine. So my helium balloon analogy is basically, you have, say, a piece of pizza that you're going to eat. You take your inhaled insulin, you pop it in, you inhale it, you do your insulin, you're eating your pizza, and you're watching your Dexcom, right? You have your alarm set for your Dexcom, and you start to notice a trend up. Well, I think of that as a helium balloon. You grab that helium balloon and bring it back down by taking more of your insulin. So you can continue to take these and kind of chase and bring that helium balloon back down to a good number. And so this way you don't get up to those climbing 200s and just hang out there. Literally, as you start to notice it going up 130, 140, you take it, it brings you back down to that comfortable level of, 110, 120, whatever your number is. And then you keep doing that. So, as those fats and carbs are breaking down, and as the time goes on from that time you actually ate that piece of pizza or that meal, you can chase those numbers and keep them at a nice neutral level. I have friends, and I have had myself, just a flat line where it's just a beautiful number that you've maintained just because you've been diligent about it. So if you want to be super anal and diligent about it, you can have your line be like a straight path. It's amazing. So as far as benefits, that is definitely the biggest benefits for me, is less lows, less highs, and kind of staying in a healthier level. My deviations are so much better. As far as travel and everything, it's super easy to travel in. So I just carry a little pouch. My friend got me this, Kelly. She got me the pouch. Basically, I keep all my pods in here, or I shouldn't say pods. They're the little cartridges with the insulin. So each one, again, is a different amount. So I have a green one, a blue one, a red one. They all stand for different units. We can talk more about that later. And I carry my my inhaler. So this is what I travel with. I keep it in my purse. If I go for a run or a bike ride, I keep this with me. So the other thing is you get a bunch of inhalers with every prescription. So you can, I keep one at my bedside. I keep one in my car. I keep one in my bikes. This way I don't have to worry about, do I have my inhaler? Do I have my medicine? I usually have like a backup. I just keep them in every place, but I carry this with me in case I need it. So this way it's a sure bet. So as far as the pros, that's what the pros look like. It's fast acting, less lows, less highs, better management, no pricks, no, as far as the scar tissue that develops from the Omnipods and the pump locations, that's all a no-brainer. It's awesome. Now let's talk about the cons. So the biggest con for me is nighttime. If you're gonna eat late, or say you don't watch that helium balloon and like manage it over the hours after you go to bed, if you go to bed shortly after you eat, you're gonna have highs at nighttime. So for me, that's been my biggest battle, is just knowing that, if I have that food, maybe it's just like a meat and cheese board, or like maybe it's a late meal where like I have, I don't know, even something simple like some salmon and vegetables or something. Like that fat, those proteins and everything are going to break down over the hours that I'm in bed, and that number is going to start to trend up. So for me, the biggest thing is just being diligent on keeping my alarm set for my Dexcom. So this way, when my numbers start to trend towards 120, 130, 140, I wake up and I can again inhale the insulin. It's at my bedside. I don't, have to worry about the lows as much, but the highs are something that I have to deal with at nighttime. That's the biggest con for me. So nighttime highs. And then as far as the other biggest con, I would say these cartridges come in 4 units, 8 units, and 12 units. This gets confusing because the ratio is different from what you normally would take with your pod, with your Omnipod or like your insulin pump. Like it's basically like a 1-to-2 ratio. So if you normally take a unit with, an Apple, you might have to take a 2 unit with the Afrezza. So you have to figure out the ratios. But the problem is they come in, the lowest dose is a 4 unit. Now they've tested it right now. They're in clinical trials with kids, and they're in clinical trials with young adults and obviously grown-up adults. And they're finding that the 4 units is not too high. And so for me, trying to battle that and try to find where my happy medium is. So I literally just take empty cartridges, and I'll take a 4 unit and I'll dump half into one and half into the other. And I know that I have 2 units instead of a 4 unit. So I make my own. So one day a week, I literally have to make some. Like these are all ones that I made that are basically 2 units, since I don't always use 4s. And these ones are 1 units. So this way I have 1s, I have 2s, I have 4s. It's something that is just, some planning ahead, and I have it for the week. It's not a big deal. But that is something that I'd love to see Afrezza kind of get maybe a 2 unit one kind of created. So the other cons is you need to get a lung function test. Obviously you have to make sure your lungs are healthy. So you have to go to a pulmonologist, and they do the function test to make sure that you're inhaling and that your lungs are healthy to absorb this medicine. Patients with like emphysema or like a really strong smoking history and things of that nature may not be a qualifier for this medicine. So obviously they have to make sure your lungs are up to par to have it, and then you get monitored every 6 months. Long term, we don't know if there's any lung function problems because it's only been around now for 5 years. So as far as long term, people, including myself, was worried about, lung quality, lung function. Like, oh my gosh, is this going to affect my bike riding or my running, or, is this going to affect just overall lung health? And the real question is, are your eyes, your kidneys, your sensation in your fingers and your toes, isn't that more important than maybe decreasing your lung function by a couple percentages? That's what it ultimately came down for me. I was like, you know what? This is worth it. If I can have an awesome number and keep my blood sugars much better managed, my overall body is going to be healthier. And so my lung function, I'm not a professional athlete. I don't do, long distance swimming where I have to be underwater for long periods of time. Like there's no reason for me to worry about a couple percentages. And I think the general population is the same way. So that's kind of the synopsis. When it comes down to my pros and cons, I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm excited to see my numbers get better. My last A1C was 6.3. So as far as, the A1C, the kind of control and that keeping that deviation really, really tight, I've really noticed a lot of improvements. And so it's a lot of freedom too. I don't have another gadget on my body. I have my Dexcom, which I have my fundraiser patch on. So JDRF Ride to Cure patch. Thank you, the Sugar Patch, for making that for me. Get your patch at thesugarpatch.shop and send me a picture if you put one on. Keeping a support collage and taking it to Sonoma with me next month. So all the proceeds goes to our fundraiser to find a cure. So the sugar patch is awesome. Obviously, you still want to wear like a Dexcom or a Libre while you're on this medicine, so this way you can monitor those trends. And then last but not least, as far as cost goes, obviously insurance, they're a jerk. You know, you obviously have to get the insurance to approve this. Your endocrinologist is going to have to fight to obviously push and make sure that, you know, they're getting kind of rebukes to say that, you know, you need this medicine. The company itself, Mankind, has a fantastic program where, you know, if you don't have insurance coverage, which currently I don't, they will get you the medicine for $15. It's an awesome copay card. You can fill it like 3 or 4 times while your endocrinologist is trying to get that medicine approved for you. So great stuff. Oh, and last but not least, the other thing that you have to take in addition to the Afrezza, you do have to take 1 shot a day, which is obviously a pro and a con. I use Tresiba, which is the long-acting medicine. You can also do Lantus, you could do Levemir. Basically, you have to take that long-acting, so that's your background insulin, and then this insulin is used to obviously battle those highs and lows. So that's kind of the general thing. I like it. 3 months into it, I'm really new to it, but I'm finding that I'm getting much more accustomed to it, and I'm really promoting it to a lot of type 1 diabetics that I meet, because I think it's worth trying, at least for the stubborn highs. And then, you know, if you don't want to have another gadget to worry about, I mean, ditch it and try it. So what's it gonna hurt, you know? So nonetheless, I inhale insulin. Diabetes, she made this shirt for us, and I'm gonna rock it out and keep going with it, and I'll keep you guys updated. If you have any questions, shoot some messages and questions underneath the link for the YouTube page, and have a good summer. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.